Well, listen, Ms. Koryn, let me be the first to say it's an honor to actually communicate with you during these odd times. I got a chance to do all of my research on you, in addition to just knowing automatically that your song, Won't He Do It, was the song that I could definitely say, if it came on in the club, I had to listen to the words to make sure that it was a gospel song or it was something about faith-based and spirituality. So again, my name is Emil Fleming, and I'm from the Atlanta Voice, and thank you for joining us today. I'm super excited to talk to you today. How are you doing, most importantly?
I'm good. I feel blessed and highly favored, and I'm happy to be talking to you, even though,
Right.
But I'm happy to be talking to you. It's dope.
Okay, absolutely. That's great. Check this out. One of the first things I want to get into is for the people who may not be familiar with your journey, you initially started off as a contestant on NBC's The Voice. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
All right. So how was that experience like for you? Because I got to be honest with you, I never checked out The Voice until I got my assignment with you. And that's when I went on ahead and looked at some footage, and I was like, all right, this girl is pretty dope. So I want to know your journey about that. Absolutely.
I mean, honestly, I actually wasn't super tuned into The Voice before I auditioned for it either. But I was 16 at the time whenever I auditioned, so it was a little while ago, but I think it was an amazing experience for me overall because it's something that I wanted to do like my whole life. I grew up watching shows like American Idol, America's Got Talent, X Factor. So I knew I wanted to be a part of like a reality competition singing show. That was like a dream for me. So the fact that it happened was crazy, and I made it all the way to the finals. Team Pharrell, shout out to Pharrell Williams, super and forever grateful to him. I think it was the start experience for me. It basically started off my career. So shout out to them. It was good though.
Right.
Good experience.
Initially, what's the motivation to want to do a reality TV show? Because a reality musical show, I should say that, because there's so many different avenues that a person can take to get a record deal or to really be seen or to be recognized for their musicality. Why did you want to be on that show to begin with? Did you feel like there were other opportunities that you could have taken, or how did that come about for you?
That's such a good crazy, and I haven't like thought about that for a while. Like, I don't think at the time I thought of the other avenues. Not that there weren't. And like I said, I was 16. I've been auditioning since I was 11. So I had this in my mind, sir. I was like, it's gonna be American Idol, it's gonna be America's Got Talent. I never had thought about The Voice, but I knew that it was gonna be something in that realm. But I honestly wasn't thinking like, hey, like maybe I could just post on YouTube and somebody, because at the time, like that was a big thing. People were getting discovered from like YouTube and social media, but that was never my mindset. I've been competing in singing competitions since I was 7 years old. So I think for me, it just, that was relatable for me, and to do it on a TV show, the national platform, that was the ultimate goal for me at the time. So that's why, I mean, like my favorite singers, Fantasia, Carrie Underwood, all those people that I looked up to, they got their start from a reality TV singing show. And like I said, I've been competing, so why not? So that was kind of my motivation behind it. And my family was always pushing me to audition for things. So yeah.
All right, there we go. So I'm curious to know, when the song Won't He Do It debuted, because you've been out now for about 3 years, I believe, up under RC, is that correct?
That's crazy, yeah.
Okay. When Won't He Do It came out, how did you initially feel in terms of how it was received? Because I got to tell you again, from somebody who had to pick and choose my gospel songs to listen to, when I first heard your track, I don't remember where I was, but I was like, I want to bump this in the car and like turn it up. So I know for me as a music consumer, it's way different than the person who's the actual artist behind it. And I know you had a talented team of writers for your first album and whatnot, but when Won't He Do It came out, for you, what did that feel like in terms of the reception, the recognition, and just how it changed your life and your perspective?
Well, I actually did this song for a TV show called Greenleaf on the Oprah Winfrey Network. Shout out to them.
All right, there we go.
Okay, all right. So they called me and told me that they wanted for me to come in and record a song and be a part of an episode. And I was like, this is a dope opportunity. I had, already worked on my EP and had other songs that I worked on. I just was like, let me go get this bag. I'm gonna sing whatever y'all want me to sing. Okay, this is Oprah, all right? And that's just me being honest. I heard the song and I was like, okay, this is dope. But I strictly was thinking for the show. This is for a TV show. Met Makiba, who wrote Won't You Do It. Shout out to her. She is amazing and I love her dearly. Did the scene, shot it, and then a few months later they ended up coming and telling me that they wanted for this song to be my single. And I was like, no. And I'm just being honest because I was like, we did this for a TV show. We worked on other songs in a studio that were made for me. This was for a TV show. So I was a little bit skeptical about it just off of the fact that it wasn't initially supposed to be on my album or from my record. I did this for a TV show. But when it first came out, I don't think that I thought that it was, you know, too far off, like from the gospel space. I think once I started hearing people's responses from it, I realized, okay, yeah, this is a little bit different from what they've had before, which I know, but I wasn't thinking about it, you know, whenever I released it. So hearing people's responses about how it was refreshing and, you know, how their kids love it, to your grandma, to your mama, whoever it is, but they felt like it was refreshing in the church space of music, I thought that it was really dope. And I took it as like a big responsibility because now, you know, like I feel like I make music for everybody and not just, you know, one particular group, the church folk. I want to make music for people who may not go to church every Sunday, but they can still hear my stuff and be like, like you said, I didn't know that it was a gospel song, but you're still receiving good stuff for your spirit and your soul unintentionally, whether you listening to the lyrics or not, it's going to your spirit and your soul. So I think that that's dope, and it's kind of shaped me into an artist moving forward, like with this new record that's coming out, and just like for the things to come, I take that as a big responsibility that I had the gift of doing that. And yeah, I mean, hopefully people rock, you know, hopefully
I know, right?
But yeah, it's a little bit of pressure, but I'm grateful.
Okay, before we head off into the good news about your album and your single that's coming out this Friday, you did say that you did the single initially for Greenleaf, and then obviously it took off and was it a zone for you. That is now your signature song that everybody's going to want to hear from you from years to come. I did get a chance to see your appearance or your cameo on Greenleaf. I'm curious to know, because we've seen a lot of artists take the leap from music to small screen, big screen, whatever you want to call it. Did you enjoy it to the point where you think you want to explore acting, or would it be more so of a, if you get an opportunity, you'll take it then?
Honestly, I feel like I gained so much respect for the actors on set that day. I've never looked at actors in that way. Like I saw it, how many times they had to do the same scene. Now my little scene, I was singing, and we had to do that about 15 times, and I was a little tired.
Okay.
But imagine like saying lines and having to have emotion, and every single time I have to evoke all of that. Right. So I gained a lot of respect for actors. And I mean, if I get an opportunity, of course I'm gonna take it and do the best that I can. I don't know if I would like make it like a second thing for me. Like I know like a lot of artists are like actors as well as they are artists. I don't know if that would be my vibe. But you know what? I think I kind of gotta be in a space where I'm actually like really, really acting to know. Because I kind of feel like it is something that I could fall in love with. But, you know?
I know that you gotta take the profession real seriously, but
we gotta see, man. We gotta see.
I know. I look forward to how that's gonna work for you in the future, because with everything that I've seen again on camera from you, including your recent Essence Festival performance, I totally think that if you do the acting bug, it'll turn out good.
Think I'll be good?
Oh heck yeah! And you're from Louisiana too, right?
I mean, I think so.
I think so. All right. Now, this brand new album, our sophomore album, your sophomore album is entitled "I Am," right? Mm-hmm. All right. What does "I Am" mean to you right now?
Oh, wow. I think it's literally just centered around identity and me being confident in knowing who I am and who God has called me to be. I think that that's so important for everybody to know who you are. It's literally the start of anything that you're trying to do in your life. You have to have identity and know who you are to be able to take those steps. So I think as an artist, coming from my first album, from the first single, I was a cover artist. Like I said, I've been competing. That means I was singing other people's songs. My first album was my first experience being in the studio, trying to figure out what is it that you want to talk about. And I was very open to hearing what other people wanted me to talk about, being what other people wanted for me to be. And also, like we talked about, me being kind of different in the gospel industry, received a lot of criticism from people not thinking that I was anointed enough, or I didn't look like the typical gospel artist. And that could bring about doubt for me to say, okay, am I supposed to be here? Do I not fit in? But I think that this is the season and the time where I step in boldly into who God has called me to be. You are supposed to be here. You have a purpose and people need it. So I think that I am I am who he says I am. I am here, and it is what it is. I have to be confident in that, because you know, people need this message. They need it. And it's just about boldly, you know, stepping into those things, and also hopefully inspiring other people to figure out who they are and be confident in that. Because that's the attack of the enemy right there. If he can get you to doubt the things that you know you set out to do, or what God has called you to do, as long as he can get you to doubt it, that's it. He's already won. So I hope that, you know, we can encourage people. But this music is very confident and bold and very, yes, I am. Okay. So that's why. I hope this is my first time like talking about it.
Okay.
So I hope
I'm
like
honored that you're opening up to us about it. That's a great thing. You got a great fan base here at the Atlanta Voice, and you've been very well received when we put out material about you. So this is just an added joy for us. I'm curious to know, there's always a different process for every album. What process did you take this time with this new album as opposed to what you did with your first album?
I think kind of piggybacking off of the title, I think just being more confident in the things that I wanted to do, and like knowing, like I think like from my first album, like I said, I received like a lot of input and kind of just was like, okay, because I didn't know. But this time I think just being more like centered into the things that I know that like I'm gifted in, and like the things that I know that I want to do, and not being like scared to try new things. And this process was easy. And I feel kind of bad. I feel kind of bad saying that, because I know people who work on albums for a year and they put like blood, sweat, and tears. This was easy. It was not hard at all. The first day we went in the studio, we got a banger. And like from there, it just kind of was like a game of like, okay, what do we have? What don't we have? What do we want to try that we haven't tried already? But it was so easy. And I think that kind of all comes together in the season of it should be easy. I mean, this is the season that God has for you to do things, the songs that he has for you to sing. If you're in the I am stage of your life where you know who you are and where you're going, it should be easy. And yeah, they're going to have trials and tribulations, but overall, it should be easy. It shouldn't be that hard to grab and access. And that's how I feel about this album. And I feel bad saying it, but at the same time, I don't. It was easy, and I'm grateful for that. And I work with so many talented producers and writers who I feel are also in the I am stage of their life, where they're confident in knowing who they are and their gifts and their talents. And then they not like overthinking it, like they just being who they are. So it was easy, and I'm excited.
Okay. Well, Beyonce could do a whole album in 2 weeks, I believe. So yeah, time is of the essence. You can do whatever you put your mind to, and I'm glad that your process was what it was to give out such a great product. I got a chance to check out the album, obviously. And although I thought the album was very consistent, the two songs that standed out to me the most was Speak to Me and You. However, your single Pray is coming out on this Friday, on the 24th. So before I jump into what I want to talk about with those songs, let me ask you this. What is the song Pray to you? What message do you want people to take from that? How important is that single for you to be released?
Oh my God. So we wrote this song in December, which was before the Rona, before all the 2020 shenanigans. We wrote this song in December. And I think it's so important to me because as an inspirational artist, as taking the title of a gospel artist, I think that that's a really big deal, that we put out music that will impact people's lives. And I'm just so grateful that I look at it as God literally was speaking. He knew what we were gonna need ahead of time. Like, that's how I look at it. And I'm so grateful to have moments like that, because you can have songs that's relatable to people, but it don't happen that often where you writing songs ahead of time and it's perfect for the time frame. So I think it just was, and you know what? We had one of those as a single initially, one of the ones that you picked. Yeah, but like the events, everything that's going on, it almost was like, come on, y'all, like we can't be blind. We can't be blind to this. And it means a lot, not just because of everything that's going on in the world, but I think that pray is something that we got to look at way past this pandemic, way past the issues in the world, when everything is fine. And that's actually a lyric in the song. Even when it's all good, you still need to pray. And I just look at it as personal relationship with Jesus. Again, whether you go to church every single day, whether you feel like you got the best relationship with him, start with prayer and build it. And it doesn't, people try to make it complicated. People want to be religious. Oh, I get down on my knees every night. I wake up in the morning to see it don't got to be all that. It's whatever you make it. But I think that it's a big message to show people in my generation, the generation that's coming up behind me, that prayer is essential, and it's relationship over everything. Outside of your circumstance.
Outside of circumstances, all right.
Okay? So yeah, it's important.
Okay.
Really important.
Off the strength of your first album, again, we all know it was very well received. You got nominated for a Grammy. You are a Stellar Award winner. The accolades are great, but I'm curious to know, do you feel what we call the sophomore slump? Do you feel the pressure of your second album doing great, overselling the last one? Like, how do you feel about the impact of what's possibly going to happen?
Yeah,
comes out?
I try not to think about that, to be honest with you. I try not to, I'm not that person, you know. God knows the plans he has for me, plans to prosper, not to harm, okay? And I feel like it was a lot of pressure before, because, you know, a lot of people, they have that whole little theory that the sophomore album is always like lame. But like, I feel like I have good music. We produce good music. I feel like I've grown. And I mean, like, that's what life is about. And I don't want to put I don't want to put nothing on myself. Like, no, I think God's plans are going to be fulfilled. And I pray, of course, my prayers are, Lord, let it be even better than the last, because I've grown. And if you grow, then it should be better. So, of course, those are my prayers and expectations. But it's a little scary that all of that happened on the first one. It's a little scary. I'm not going to lie. But I guess we just going to have to see.
You're out. All right.
I did my best.
You did your best. And hey, that's all you can do. We're dealing in the current generational state of the millennials and the Z generation. Because if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to give away your age, but I think the 90s is your era, correct?
I mean, I'm 22 for everybody that want to know. Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel as a person of this current climate, with in your age bracket as well, about everything that's going on, from the pandemic to our questionable and debatable political climate? There has to be a voice that I know that you believe you have amongst everybody else. We've seen the protests, we've seen the riots. As a person who does deliver inspirational music, what's your take on what's going on right now?
Wow. Man. My bad. Somebody good? Okay.
Whatever you feel.
So I feel like it's a lot to process for me. This is why I personally feel like relationship with Jesus is so important. Of course, that's my message. I think that what the world is showing us should be a sign of the times. So many people are dying. And I think that overall, my message has to be, y'all, we got to be living for something bigger than social media. We got to be living for something bigger than your goals and your accomplishments and your cards and all of that good stuff, because it goes to show you that none of that stuff really matters. It doesn't matter. So I think that my message would be, live for something bigger than yourself. Live for something bigger than the world, because clearly we toe up down here, y'all. It's a little tore down. I'm not gonna lie, but I marched, I went to protest, and I think that it's important for us to stand up for things, stand up for stuff that you believe in. But overall, relationship with Jesus is so important. That gotta be my message. Like, it's the only thing that I can give, because what else can I say? Like, literally, all I can give people is Jesus. He's the only one that's gonna give us guidance, wisdom, and hope in this time. He's the only person that can do it. And pray. Literally, pray. You gotta live for something bigger than social media.
You do.
Like, you gotta live for something bigger than yourself. So that would be my message, because that's what I'm telling myself. I'm not gonna be like hypocritical and I'm 22, and what I tell myself is you have to live for something bigger than yourself, because clearly everything fades away. Like, I could walk outside tomorrow and get racially profiled and die, and then what is my life gonna mean after that? And where am I gonna go? Okay, that's a whole nother topic, okay? So I think that that's what people need to think about. We got to get to the reality. We don't want to think about stuff like that. I don't even think a lot of people want to think about life after death or even death. We think that we are literally immortal, and we're not, y'all. We're not. So we got to think. We don't want to be reality, but that would be my thing, is let's start thinking deeper. And this generation is so special, so bold, so unapologetic. You gotta be about it with the right stuff. Be unapologetic for the right reasons. And that's all I'm gonna say on that.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. As we wrap up, I'm gonna ask you 3 more questions, and kind of, fun filled and whatnot. What advice would you give to your current generation right now, who is having a bit of a time trying to read the Bible? There are a lot of people who believe in Christ, or they're followers of the higher power, whichever colloquialism they like to use, but they're having a really hard time reading that Bible or picking it up. There's so many avenues and so many ways. As an inspirational leader in the music community that you are, what would you recommend to somebody your age to say, hey, I can read the Bible, but if this ain't working for you, we can try this?
I mean, honestly, I think that we all have that struggle. It doesn't matter how old you are. Like, I know old people who still struggle with reading the Bible. I mean, it's normal. Like, and if you're not a reader, then what? Like, I think that it's better to like attack it. It takes discipline, like in anything that you do. It's literally like study. If you're not a reader, if you're not a studier or whatever, it's not something that comes second nature to you. It's gonna take discipline, first of all. So my thing is, you need to ask yourself if this is something that you are really ready to commit to. Because again, it's not religious. I'm not for religion. I'm for relationship. And reading the Bible is only going to help you get to know God more. So you need to decide, not just because you want to be moral and tell yourself, oh yeah, I read the Bible, I read my word every day. What is that going to do? Nothing if you don't have a relationship with him. So for all the people, I'm talking to somebody right now, stop trying to read your word because you're just trying to be moral and make yourself feel better. Even with praying. Oh, I pray every morning and every night, and it's not doing nothing good for your soul and your spirit. You still don't have a relationship with him. Relationship over everything. That's my message. So I think it first starts with the choice and me saying, you know what? I'm deciding, God, because he's there and he hears you. I'm deciding to build this relationship with you. Just like if it was a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a friendship, you have to make that choice to put the time in, and it's going to take discipline. And if just reading the word, the first thing I'm going to say is, the King James Version is a no-go for me, because I cannot be reading that thou art shall out thou. I'm like, well, what did happen? That's me. I don't know what's going on. Translations. So if you're not familiar, you can switch the translation up, like the American Standard Version, American Contemporary Version, all of that stuff, make it plain for you to read. And another dope thing that I like to do is I have the Bible app. Shout out to the Bible app. Devotionals are really good because it will give, you can pick any topic. If you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you want to learn about love, if you just want to know about Jesus, if you want to marriage, relationships, anything, you can type those things in and they will give you devotionals specific to that. That way you're not just like blindsided. I know a lot of people don't know where to start in the Bible. I think it's best to start on what you feel in this season. If it's getting to know God more, if it's overcoming lust, depression, anything, you can start there and they'll give you a devotional and they'll make it plain. You read it through and then they'll give you a scripture afterwards. So it's not so like scripture-y and you trying to figure it out yourself. That is a really good tip. I feel like I just gave y'all some gold. Go get the Bible app any other devotional app, y'all can Google. I think devotionals are really dope for people that don't know how to cipher through the word, because I do it and I love it. I think it's beneficial. And
there we go. All right, you mentioned Fantasia. So what's a good ideal duet you'd want to do in the future with one of your favorite artists outside of Miss Fantasia? Any mainstream?
Love her.
I know we all love her, right? She takes you to the church and back. But you gotta give me somebody else that you probably want to do a duet with. Duet, collaboration, whatever fancy word you want to use.
Oh my God.
I know it's so many people, right?
It is. It's so many people. I'd never know who to say when this freaking answer. I mean, this question comes about. Like,
we gotta think about.
I mean, I really love one of my favorite rappers is J. Cole. So I would love to do a record with him one day.
Okay.
I love him so much. He's one of my favorite rappers. I would love to do a record with J. Cole. That's all I'm gonna say right now. I mean, Kirk, I haven't worked with Kirk yet. I know him. I went on tour with him, but of course, if we sticking in the gospel lane, gotta do a record with Kirk for sure. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say right now.
Do you ever feel as an inspirational leader, as a gospel singer, do you ever feel like you don't want to get pigeonholed in that specific category of music, so that way when you want to branch out, if you choose to in the future, that people aren't just going to identify you as Koryn Hawthorne, the gospel singer? Does it ever get to you at some point?
No, I think that we make it what we make it. It doesn't matter if y'all call me a gospel singer, as long as we work hard to make sure the songs are crossing over and, you know, we making music for everybody. You can call me a gospel singer. And I mean, like, as long as I'm putting in the work to make sure I'm making music for everyone and my team and we're pushing it outside of gospel, I think that's what's more important to me. They know that that's really important to me, to just not work within the gospel range or just set gospel accolades or whatever as my, you know, main goals. I'm like, no, I want to be on R&B and hip hop stations. So, I mean, like, I don't care if they identify me as a gospel artist, because that's what I do. It's who I am. I'm a believer. I think it's important that we push it outside the four walls of the church.
Okay. Amen.
Call me what you want, you know, as long as I'm moving. Period. Yeah.
All right. So I Am, the album is coming out. When can we expect that?
Honestly, I don't know.
You don't know yet? All right.
Get the single on Friday.
Single on Friday.
7/24/2020.
Yeah.
Spray drops. Y'all go get that, and the album should not be that far behind. But I really don't know the date.
That's fine.
I'm a little ghetto. But
all of that work. One last question. I do want to ask you this. Since you do have accolades and titles to your name now, how important to you is it to actually win a Grammy? If it is at all.
Who doesn't want a Grammy, right? Like,
I don't know. Maybe somebody may not really care about it, but you're right. I understand that.
I don't care. I think that I had the biggest record. Like, I mean, Won't He Do It was like really big, and I knew that I accomplished a lot. And even though I didn't win the Grammy for it, like, I still knew, you know, what I had accomplished. So in that sense, it's not gonna define like, oh, was Won't He Do It the biggest song of gospel music? You know, like, I feel like I did what I did. I know I broke records, like, you know, so I'm happy with that. But of course, like, I would be like extremely ecstatic if I won. So if I do win, glory be to God. If I don't, glory be to God. That's how I feel. But I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I don't want one. You know, like, just being real. Like, yeah, it would be lit to get one, but if I don't, I'm still gonna be okay. You know? Yeah.
Well, Ms. Koryn, thank you so much for joining us today at the Atlanta Voice, or with the Atlanta Voice. I cannot tell you how grateful we are and appreciate having to communicate with you in person or via Zoom. I keep thinking about that. So no less, we're looking forward to everything that you're doing in the future. And again, Praise drops this Friday, July 24th. And Ms. Koryn, safe travels, be safe, and as you promote the album, may God be with you every step of the way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Koryn. Have a good one.
Thank you, you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Shayna.